Hi, Namaskar. Welcome to this exciting episode to offer, it's our endeavor. Yeah, Namaskar all and welcome. So today we're going to ask Dr. Bhayani and Dr. Bhayani ji and Dr. Japra, what is COVID-19? Like it has made such a big impact and the Worldometer says that more than 300,000 people globally have been affected by this pandemic. So Dr. Bhayani can you explain what is COVID-19 and then Japra ji can pitch in.
Yeah. So COVID-19 is a new virus which is in human being. It originated in bats, so it's a zoonotic virus. And in Wuhan province of China, it got transmitted from animal to humans. So this is how it started end of last year.
And
And since then, there are almost 300 cases now all over the world.
Dr. Japra, what do you think is the main reason of spread of this COVID-19? How it has spread?
Well, so far they really don't have exact ways how it gets transmitted, but like Dr. Bhayani said, it's mammals coronavirus. Usually, it's in the mammals you get it, and maybe with the genealogy and everything, it got modified and it got entered the human beings. Now, once it enters the human beings, it's mainly a respiratory virus, and the virus outside it stays only for some time. So it has to have a living object to survive. So from the surface touch is the best way it gets transmitted, but also through the droplets it can get transmitted. So if I sneeze into somebody's face or cough into somebody's face through the droplets and it goes into the respiratory tract right on the mouth, the nose or eyes, it can go back into the respiratory tract and then it can hurt it.
So Dr. Bhayani, like what are the possible solutions? I think President Trump very emphatically tweeted yesterday that chlorohydroxylene and plus and with azithromycin, it's going to get cured. But what is your view on the possible cures for this vaccine, this particular virus?
So this has become an extremely serious issue for the entire world. Probably, as they say, it's one of the unprecedented event happening in our lifetime in last, I would say, at least 100 years. Similar thing happened in 1918, where they call Spanish flu happened, and a lot of people died. So this virus, initially people did not take it very seriously, thinking it's a mild thing because China was downplaying it. So now time has come to find the solution for this. So the first and most important thing is quick diagnosis. So FDA just approved a test just yesterday where you can now diagnose the patient within 45 minutes. That is one of the most important rate limiting factor is early diagnosis and isolation. So as far as the treatment is concerned, there is being a virus, there is no real treatment, and there are various medications have been used or tried in very serious patients who are on a ventilator or in the ICU or in critical condition. In the past, people have seen when SARS, if you remember that virus came in the last decade, quinine and the azithromycin, they have shown certain benefit on this virus by glycosylation of the proteins. And then this kind of helps to slow down the severity of the symptoms of the lung when it reaches lung. So overall, a lot of efforts are being made. There are at least 20 companies working to create a vaccine, and there are equal number of companies are working to create a medication which will help the cure. But so far, there is none which is absolutely sure to take care of it. So that is the biggest drawback. So essentially, then what can we do? So there are two things we can do. One is called as the mitigation method. and other one is called the suppression. So suppression method is what was happening in China. So what they did was they put everybody in lockdown and isolated everybody. They shut down the whole that province and eventually the whole China. And what happened was there was no transmission which was happening because it was the clear break in the transmission. While in South Korea they did other way around. What they did was they found the patient, so they backtraced each patient and found out who every person who came in contact with that person was traced and put in the isolation. So these are the two ways to do it. While US is kind of doing half both, where there is now 4 states in the United States have declared the total shutdown is California, New York, Illinois, and New Jersey. And there is a prediction in next 48 hours, Trump is going to announce that most likely the whole country will go into shutdown. So meanwhile, when that is happening, the good thumb of rule is assume that you have a virus and isolate yourself, which is called a self-quarantine. And second thumb of rule is assume everybody around you has the virus and protect yourself. If you follow these two principles, then you can protect yourself. So no need to have panic and fear, but being smart and being proactive and protecting yourself and then protecting others. If you follow these two principles, I think you can control this virus.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Bhayani. So, Dr. Japra ji, what is the best recourse? You have heard Dr. Bhayani also. What are the solutions that we can do to prevent ourselves on this particular virus?
I think very simple rules. Of course, Dr. Gyani went over some of the details otherwise, but I think the simple rules even are etiquettes if we try to change. It's a change of like my heart patient, I usually tell them, you have to change your lifestyle. So here you have to change your lifestyle, your culture as well. Even the etiquettes, we used to shake hands with people, hug people, get close to people. Now I think just saying namaste from a distance is the best way to greet somebody. So start from the greetings, then of course your coughing etiquettes, even if you have to cough, so don't put your hands on your mouth. That's just natural what we used to do. And now you have to just put your arm or elbow, or if you have a handkerchief or have a Kleenex or some of those things. That's why you cough into it, and don't cough into the air, or somebody around you might get it, or it'll get into the surface right in front of you. And then of course you're going to touch it and touch it back, or somebody else touches. So those are the simple etiquettes which one should look at. And then, of course, the self-hygiene, washing your hands frequently every time you get in touch with something or you touch anything which you know is not clean. You should always wash your hands, even on the surfaces you work with. Make sure you wipe it off with Clorox, Dettol, Lysol, whatever you have available. If nothing else, some alcohol swabs. If at home, some people are not even getting their sanitizers and other things, I usually tell them open a bottle of scotch and then do it, with that. That's also alcohol. So anything that has alcohol usually will kill it. And then simple things which we have been using for many, many years. Anybody used to get cold, we used to do gargles with salt. Simple things so that, I'm sure Dr. Bhayani, he's an ENT doctor, he can tell you this is at the back of the throat, back of the nose where these two meet. We call it pharynx over there, and that's where this virus survives. So if you can gargle with the salt and warm water, you can kill these things and keep it clean if you do it 3 or 4 times a day. And this day and age, even on a regular cold, it's very, very effective. I've seen that. So these simple things, washing hands, doing gargles, and the cough etiquettes, all these things will make a big difference. And of course, Dr. Bhayani talked about distancing. You treat yourself as if you have it, and then of course anybody else, you don't want to get near them and think they have it. So if you follow those rules, within a couple of weeks, this virus will be dead. This deadly virus will be gone, and we can celebrate again.
So, what is the timelines? I think Dr. Bhayani just said that tomorrow President Trump may announce a national emergency. So, what is the general timelines? Do you think that this particular phase will last for this virus and also for this emergency?
Well,
So
okay,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Dr. Jafar. Please go ahead.
Okay, so basically, like I said, it all depends exactly how much you can quarantine yourself. If what they did was in China, they quarantined the whole Wuhan, 7 million people, and within 3 to 4 weeks, everything was taken care of. You don't see any more new cases, even in Wuhan. They are back to normal. There's a lot of traffic. People are walking around. Back to the factories are open, you can do that. But see, in a communist country, in an authoritarian country, it's easy to do that. Democracy, uh, and see what happened in Iran and what happened in Italy. Unfortunately, people don't care. They are still going around celebrating, hugging each other, drinking, parking, picnicking, going to the beaches. That's why it became such a is a lot more South Korea did a beautiful job quarantining themselves, and there were very few deaths, and there are no more cases there either. We should learn from those countries. If we can quarantine, like Dr. Gani said, we can do it in 3 to 4 weeks. But if we don't do that, it's going to continue on the 13th or 14th day. Somebody gives it to another person, then you start another 2 weeks. So this chain will continue unless you break this chain. It will not stop. So that is the critical thing. So nobody can say how long unless everybody follows the rules and try to break the chain. And then, of course, it'll be all dead.
So Dr. Bani, as per Dr. Japra, he mentioned that. Is there, why India has been successful, that India has few cases despite having been such a large country? What is the secret behind that?
See, there are two issues. I think one is the limited testing, and that is also actually initially in America. The because being this a new virus, a lot of countries do not even have means of testing the patients. And that is one of the biggest drawback or criticism for this Trump administration, that they should have prepared enough tests in America so that we could have picked up the cases faster, earlier, and before they transmit others. Similar logistic issue we are facing in India. So we hope that it stays like this, the number of cases stays low. Second thing is, I think Indians in general have higher innate immunity, and that's why if you see year after year, all these crazy viruses originate from China, but the impact on India in the past also has been very limited. The third reason also is that India is a hotter country, and most of these influenza and coronavirus kind of these similar viruses, they thrive in the colder weather, and as soon as the summer starts, they all disappear or they cannot survive. There has been proven that if this coronavirus also, if the temperature is higher than 37 degrees, it doesn't survive. So that's also beneficial for Indians. So in a way, I would say is, as there is a saying, is better to be lucky than good. So Indians have been lucky in that manner because our population is not as obedient as Chinese, and our people always take it for granted that nothing is going to happen to me, and I'm just going to go to mandir and do some havan, and I'm going to be get cured by these viruses, which is generally not the case. So with the higher immunity and a hot temperature, we hope that this virus will not affect Indians. But as we do more and more testing, the real picture will come out.
So finally to Dr. Japra. So Japra ji, your perspective on what Americans can learn from Indian society, or maybe we just hope for America to become hotter in the summer.
No, no, I mean, America, the temperature wise, I think we are almost the same what India is now. and of course south over here, uh, it does not survive. But we used to think that way, but now even in Africa, South America, Peru, and all those countries, they see it gets imported. Unfortunately, it does not originate from there. But now with the globe becoming so small, people are traveling so much, and that's why all these Chinese people, they started in October. If we had known by that time, if people did not travel to Italy and Iran and other places, this would not have happened. Even in America, I think we are very fortunate. President Trump in mid-January itself, closed the traffic from China, and later on even from Europe and other places, that we are seeing less importing of these cases. Otherwise, it's very tough to really stop it, because once these cases come and people keep transferring it, transmitting it from one person to the other, it's a multiplication is so much, it's unbelievable. So we have to break the chain somewhere. I hope the Indians are lucky, and like Dr. Vyani said, besides temperatures, our immunity level is high, and hopefully genetically also they are made, built a little bit different, and we'll learn a lot more after this episode is gone, after the whole accident is over, and which caste or which group or which tribe really got it more or less, and then we can see genetically if it makes any difference. So those are the only other things. But learning from India, not really that much at this point, except isolation and quarantining yourself, so keeping away from everybody. We have learned a lot more from China and South Korea in that area, in that sense. We have started late, both in India as well as in America, and I think the worst is still to come. Hopefully, in 1 or 2 weeks, these precautions now, and then the curve will be a little flatter, and it will not peak to the level where Italy and Iran has done, or now even Spain and Germany. I mean, they had open borders, they had no problem, they kept importing people, they did not put those bans. So that's why they are in that bad state. So Spain and Germany are getting as bad, and UK is learning a little bit late too. It's coming late, but if we can learn from those countries and try to act upon it, I think we can be lucky ones.
So viewers, you're hearing the perspective from Americans for Hindus, and our platforms to help Americans cope up with this pandemic, global pandemic. So stay inside for the time being, but we're going to give you some more as it develops. Thank you.